Hey, it's Clay at claytrader.com. This will be my top 10 stocks as we head into Wednesday, October 18th. This will be a technical analysis breakdown. So if you're someone that uses charts within your trading, or maybe you're interested in just learning more about charts and how they can be used as a tool to help make good decisions as a trader, this would be a video for you. Real quick, a couple of clarifications. Number one, the candle that you see right there will be moving around and changing. That is because the market's still open for a small amount of time. But I like to do these videos because sometimes we can capture some really interesting late day price movement. And then second, I'll be using the 30-minute time frame, meaning each one of these candlesticks here represents 30 minutes worth of time. So stock number one here, NKTX. Monster mover today, and now it's pulled back a little bit, but in doing so has formed a nice little consolidation pattern here. And the level that I think a lot of people will be watching headed into next week, going to be right up here or at this area, basically the top part of this consolidation area, right there around $3.40. So price, like I said, made the nice move up, pulled back, and then it's kind of just been chopping right below that level. So while there are no guarantees, is it plausible? Is it valid to think that if the price can come up and then get the break of $3.40, that break right there in and of itself could create additional buying pressure? In my mind, that is a plausible scenario in terms of areas of support. So maybe you like to play more so pullbacks. Interesting level from that angle right down there at the bottom part of that consolidation, which sits around $2.70. So keep an eye on that. So in my mind, it's really as straightforward as this. You have this little miniature sideways channel pattern, and now it's just a question of who's ultimately going to win out. Are the bulls going to win out with a break to the upside, or the bear is going to win with a break to the downside? But given the overall upwards momentum, like I said, if you were to push me in a corner, I would err on the side of the bulls winning out. So we'll see what happens with it. So if you like this sort of price range down below $10, you like these sort of big movements, and then you get a little sideways channel, definitely keep an eye on it. Next one here, TPST. Overall, good solid chart. Now, this does have a little bit of, well, it depends into it. What do I mean by that? Well, is this a good looking or bad looking chart? Well, it depends. If you're a day trader, flipper, scalper, whatever you want to call yourself, and you bought right there and your plan was to buy and sell within 2 minutes, well, then yes, from that perspective, things look pretty bad because, yes, from these highs, there was a relatively big pullback. With all that being said, assuming you care about the bigger picture point of view, you can very clearly see that even with the pullback here, you have this set of lows, then you have this set, and then if that area holds right there, and if you envision each one of those as stair-steps, and I should note there's even lows lower than that, but if you envision each one of these as stair-steps, well, then overall the trend is still very much so in the upwards direction. Again, I fully understand that if you're a day trader and you bought right there, you don't really care about these stair-steps. So that's why I'm trying to differentiate between more so a day trader standpoint and someone that cares more so about a bigger picture point of view. So yes, today it's a little disappointing perhaps that the price did pull back, but bigger picture wise, as you saw, there is still plenty of opportunity to chip away and build those higher bases. Nothing has changed from the support and resistance levels that I talked about previously. You still have 750 as that near-term area, and then up there at $9.80. And then support-wise, again, nothing has changed. You still have 590, and then that purple line there, the 50-period moving average. Next one here, ASMB. Bigger mover today, got the pullback, and like the other one we talked about, a nice little consolidation. The difference here is I think a lot of people have probably drawn in a trend line very similar to that level as it stands out. Adjust it right there. I think pretty straightforward, and I like those straightforward, dare I say, quote-unquote, easy trend lines to draw, because when a lot of people are drawing them and watching the same things and wondering the same thing, call it a self-fulfilling prophecy, call it whatever you want, it can produce some very dynamic movement. So got to think a lot of people have drawn that trend line in there, and again, no guarantees, but is it plausible that if this thing curls back upwards, gets to that level and pushes up through it, that break in and of itself could create additional momentum? That is certainly a plausible scenario. So in my mind, it's pretty much, you know, I'm not saying there's not any other ways you could approach it, but I think that's the level that makes the most sense and is the easiest to see. So if you like these sorts of potential scenarios, keep an eye on it. Next one here, SPRC, and same general idea that I just talked about. So I'm not going to sit here and just be a broken record. I'll get the levels in play. And then, you know, like I said, so the same general idea, big move up, price pulled back, and now the price is just consolidating, and it's looking like the top part of this little range right here is at $6.70. So keep an eye on that as far as a potential turnaround breakout point. If you do like to play pullbacks, then there does seem to also be a pretty, you know, documented level here right around 565. So let's change that where you can see, you know, a couple times both there and their price came down and found some support. If you want to be a little bit more aggressive on the pullback, then yeah, maybe you wait until this grouping of moving averages down there, the 200-period moving average and the 50-period moving average. But of course, if you wait for that, then that, you know, the downside there might be you just completely miss out on the trade. So there's always pros and cons to things, but nonetheless, same general idea. Big move up. Now it's consolidating. So we'll see if it wants to curl back upwards or maybe do a little bit more of a pullback. Next one here, AMC. Overall, very nice, solid day. Fantastic opening 30 minutes, actually a bit of a gap down, and then that opening 30 minutes turned into what we would call a bullish engulfing candle, and then a nice move up. Granted, it has pulled back here, so yes, right here, it has pulled back, but you got to think, well, what was happening before this pullback? And, well, it had a nice upwards move like that, which is now giving me the ability to draw a bull flag pattern. So today, individually, bull flag pattern, but taking a step back and looking at more than just a single day, the price, the chart still got work to do in order to kind of regain, where it was, but, it seems to be, having done going down as, obviously this was all nasty, but it curled up. Now it's got to move here. So I don't know, is this some sort of cup and handle type formation forming where it gets moving upwards? That's a valid question I think you can throw out there. But from an overarching point, I still have that pink line down there, 200 period moving average, as the main area of support. And then in terms of areas of resistance, main level to watch right there around $10.25 now, which makes sense. You go back here and you can see this was a former area of support. So this is just a classic example of the support now acting as resistance. Real quick, want to take a break and personally invite you to get signed up for this free live online class that I'll be offering here in a couple of days. So if you've enjoyed what you've seen and you want to learn more about this tool, how it can and should be used to build consistency and manage risk, then definitely get signed up for the free live class. If you're watching on YouTube, there's a link down in the description box, or if you're at my website watching, then just click right there on the link that will be on the page that you're currently on. So like I said, if you've been enjoying, then definitely get signed up for the free class. Next one here, ticker symbol OPGN, and nice move here as it's trying to come back to life again. So what I liked about this one was it finally, and I'm just going to draw this very crudely, but finally broke through that trend line right there. So got the break right there because you had this the symmetrical triangle. So got the break, and now when the price did break, did it explode upwards? It didn't. But at the same time, this will mean a little bit more to those of you that have traded for a while. If you have, I'm sure you've seen situations where there's a breakout and then the price just completely fails and drops right back to where it was, or sometimes gets much worse. But that wasn't the case here. The price has at least started to go sideways. So that guarantees nothing, but it does at least suggest that, okay, maybe this was a truly healthy breakout, and maybe there's going to be some more momentum to come. So moving forward right here, $1.03 key level, and the reason for that is, and I'm not saying this will occur, but if the price were to come down here to $1.03 and then fall back below it, well, what do you have? Now all of a sudden you'd have the price having gone right back inside of that range where it just was. So in order to, you just want to see progress, and a first step would be not having the price fall back inside of that range, which is, again, is being defined there at $1.03. In terms of areas of resistance, main level here that stands out right there at that level of $1.27. So keep an eye on $1.27. But all in all, like I said, got the overall symmetrical triangle breakout. The price is now maintaining itself, going sideways. So we'll see if it can get followed up with more continuation over the next couple of days. Next one here, NKLA. And yeah, just a very brutal looking chart. With that being said, NKLA, I'm not going to fully call it a cult stock, but it's kind of like a cult stock. There's a lot of people that are, pretty popular. A lot of people believe it. And, when you have those sorts of kind of ingredients together, you have those situations where people are looking for any reason to buy at all. And sometimes maybe it's just as simple as, hey, look, this downtrend line is broken. Time to buy more. Now, I'm not saying that's for sure the case, but is it plausible? Absolutely. So once again, we have one of these talking points of possible self-fulfilling prophecy. But plus, you're going to have people that don't even care about the stock itself, that are just looking at patterns, that could realistically play that here. But there's no doubt about it. As of now, this thing has gotten beaten down. And yeah, you could try to play some sort of bounce right there. But history is also suggesting that this thing likes to put in new lows and new lows. So it feels a whole lot like maybe potentially trying to catch a falling knife. Now, some people do very well with that. But like I said, for more of if you're waiting for some sort of confirmation, then that does lead to the valid question of, okay, well, how are you defining confirmation? And I think that trend line really helps out in that regard. So if you do like to play this price range, you like to play stocks that are pretty popular but are getting absolutely beaten down, then keep an eye on this one, as you could get a good quality dead cat bounce. Next one, TSLA Tesla, and overall good solid move. This will mean, again, a little bit more to those who have watched past videos, but if you have, I've talked about this support zone right here, and you just can't make this stuff up. Opening 30 minutes, price came down here, dropped slightly down below that area of support, and then absolutely a beautiful bounce all the way up there. So for any of you that watched yesterday's video and took advantage of that, congratulations. You got yourself, like I said, a very, very impressive bounce. So nothing here has changed in regards to that. You still have the same support zone, top of the support zone right there, 250.70, bottom of the support zone down there right at 247.65. So continue to watch that if there is any sort of move downwards. But what's really more interesting in Tesla, definitely a very popular stock. I'm sure you've heard of it. And this is a pretty straightforward pattern here that it's formed. So you have a downward slope there. And if you want to just use that pink line there as a lower trend line, you can do that. But I'll just draw it out like this. And then you have to factor in, well, as I already talked about, that big bounce here. Then to make it a little bit more visual, we'll put the golfo down here for you golfers out there. And right here, we have what would be known as a bull pennant pattern. So back to that talking topic of self-fulfilling prophecies, a lot of people watching the same areas, watching the same patterns, and especially on a very popular stock such as Tesla, guarantees nothing, but it certainly makes it plausible that if the price can come up here and get a break up through there, that break could very well cause and create some additional upside buying pressure. So if you like bull pennant patterns, you like bull pennants on very popular stocks, then certainly keep an eye on Tesla. Next one here, PLTR, and nice mover here today. Once again, opening 30 minutes, pretty crazy candle, and then, didn't make a little bit more room upwards, but then things kind of chilled out a little bit. But overall, good solid move here, and a couple of key levels. Now, overarching key level is at 1690. And again, I'll turn this into a quick plug. Go get signed up for that class. Look, you can't make this stuff up, and I promise. And I'm not offended if you don't believe me. Whatever, Clay. You just put that line on there right before you started to record. I have not, and the good news is that there's proof. All you got to do is go back in the archive, and you can see that I've had that line there. So a classic example of the power of charts. So go get signed up for that free class. So right there, that's the main area of support, 1690. The ideal level, when you're say, what would make this chart look the absolute best moving forward? And that would be if the price can stay there up above that purple line, which so far so good. It's done a great job. But don't get me wrong, it's not like if the price falls below that level, then that implies everything's destroyed and ruined or anything like that. But yeah, preferably speaking, if the price can stay above that level, that'd be great. And then from an overarching standpoint, as far as resistances are concerned, keep an eye up there at $18.30. That'll be the main overarching level, which is essentially, let me zoom this down here, the top part of this, big overall sideways channel pattern. So right here, again, 1690, which you can see, support, 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 and then up there, resistance, resistance, resistance. So if the price does get up there, that's where the big question mark comes into play. Can it break, or will it act as resistance again? Next one here, ticker symbol TQQQ, which is an ETF that measures the NASDAQ market. So if you believe the NASDAQ market as a whole is going to rise, this one will also rise. But difference is it just allows you access at a much lower price point. And well, I take that back. There are some things to update here. Once again, NASDAQ had a very crazy day, which is why a lot of those stocks, started off rough. But then you can see very nice recovery, a bit of a pullback here. But within that recovery, nothing has happened in regards to that trend line, which I put into play in Monday's video, just because I'm pretty curious about that level. I think that's going to be a key part of the story here moving forward. But you also don't want to get too far out of yourself, because first off, the price has now got to get back above that purple line. It spent a little bit of time above that purple line, but fell back below it, and it's approaching it right now. Actually, I take that back. The market is officially closed, so the market has closed down below that area. But if the price can push up through there, then yes, next big battleground is going to be that trend line right there. And then definitely the big overarching level up there at the $40 mark, which you can see is where the sellers were hanging out right there. As far as supports are concerned, I'm going to go ahead and just get rid of that level. I think it served its purpose for now, because, in all actuality, from the bigger picture point of view, the most simplified way to just continue to watch this from a support standpoint is going to be that pink line there, that 200 period moving average. But no doubt about it, very nice recovery. Now it's just a question of, can the price get above that moving average, and then all about that trend line right there. I think there's going to be some importance that goes into there, but we'll see how the future continues to play out. So that wraps up the top 10 list. Again, if you like what you saw here, then I want you to go get signed up for that class. Like I said, it'll be very soon, Thursday, October 19th at 7 p.m. Eastern time. So I hope to see you there. As far as these top 10 videos are concerned, if you enjoy these, then please do two things for me. Hit that like button, leave a comment, say hi, give me your watch list. Those two things help out the channel. They help out these videos, and they communicate to me that you're enjoying. And as long as you know you're enjoying, I'll continue to get this content out to you. So hit that like button, leave a comment below, and go get signed up for that free class.